What is up, you guys? This is Yash, and welcome to your very first tutorial of programming in C. Now, for programming, we require some softwares. I'm going to use Turbo C++ IDE. I know this is C++, but trust me, guys, it can be used for C or C++. And IDE means Integrated Development Environment. It pretty much has all the components required for programming, and by components I mean a text editor where we actually type our program, a compiler. Now, compiler is a very important component when it comes to programming. What compiler does is it converts all the written matter from the text editor, and it converts it into the machine language, which is made up of zeros and ones, all that binary. And it pretty much processes everything, and it gives the required output. So compiler is really very important for programming. Now, there are many different IDEs to choose from. Turbo is one of them. There is Eclipse, there is CodeBlocks, and NetBeans. These are all free IDE. You can choose anything. The code will remain the same. And I think that's it. Let's start coding. File new. This is the beautiful blue window where we are actually going to type our code here. And let's get started with our first program, which is printing things on screen. So for this code we have to include our library. Now this is a library include. Now what we are saying is to include this library. .h means a header file, and this is standard input output. This is one of the libraries. Of course, there are many such libraries which we can include. There is conio.h which we have to include. I don't know if we call it conio or what, but I like the word conio, so there you go. And I think there are many libraries, and I'm going to go through it as we proceed. And going through all the libraries in just one tutorial is just boring. uh, so I will just include two libraries for now because we require only two for printing program. And okay, before I type here anything, I would like to say anything and everything which ends with these parentheses or brackets, whatever the heck you call it, is called a function. Whatever ends with this is called function. Just stay with that. I know it's confusing, but just call it function and proceed. So we're gonna make a function here. It's called main function. This function is called main function, and void pretty much means that it won't return anything to a different function. Now we will be talking in detail about functions later on, but for now you go ahead and type this. Now these curly brackets, we type the code in here between these curly brackets, and these curly brackets belong to main because we have typed main here, of course. This means that when main runs, the code in here will run between these curly brackets. So for printing, there is a function called printf. Every line ends with a semicolon, and if it doesn't have a semicolon, it will have its own curly brackets. So if main doesn't have a semicolon, it will have its curly brackets. In programming, it works like this. So to print out, in the printf function, inside the brackets, just put two quotations, and you can type anything here. Everyone types hello world first, so I'll also go ahead and type hello world, even though the whole world will not be able to see this program. And let's run and see what happens. Run. Okay, we have not got any error, but we didn't really see it running. So why this happened is because it ran, It printed stuff and then it ended. It didn't stop to show us the hello world, it just ended like that. And for it to stop, for it to make a stop, we add this line get ch. Now this is also a function and we end it with a semicolon. Now what this function does is it says okay, run it, it will print and then it will stop here. It will ask the user to press any key and then it will continue, which is nothing, so it will end. Now get ch, it will just stop for user to press any key and then it will continue. And now let's run and see what happens. So it prints out hello world two times and it stops for us to press any key. So I'll press any key and we will reach here again. Now why did it print hello world two times? Let's run this again and see what happens. Okay, now it prints out three times. This happens because we are running it, and if I run it again it will go four times. So it is also showing the output of previous programs. What we have to do to overcome this problem is we have to add a line called clr scr. Now this function is called clear screen function. What it does is it clears the screen and then it runs the lines after it. Now let's run and see what happens. Okay, now we got our hello world finally. Let's press any key so that we exit. So this is how it works. What a compiler does, it goes through all the program, it searches for the main function and it runs the main function first. It doesn't matter if you have some different functions here, but it will run the main first and then it will run accordingly. So this is pretty much it. This is how you actually print stuff. You can write anything in here between these quotations, and yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching and we meet in the next tutorial.